Rolling Stone magazine has now changed its apology for that article it published about an alleged rape on the University of Virginia campus. A statement on their website said their trust in the accuser was misplaced. According to the magazine's article, a student named Jackie claimed she was raped by 7 men at the Phi Kappa Psi fraternity during a party. Well, now Rolling Stone has removed the line about its trust being misplaced. Its managing editor now says this. So 2 apologies. This is the latest one now, saying this, quote, "In the face of new information reported by the Washington Post and other news outlets, there now appears to be discrepancies in Jackie's account," end quote. Oh, he continues on to say, Jackie herself is now unsure if the man she says lured her into the room where the rape occurred, identified in the story as Drew, was a Phi Psi brother. According to the Washington Post, Drew actually belongs to a different fraternity. We published the article with the firm belief that it was accurate. Given all of these reports, however, we have come to the conclusion that we were mistaken in honoring Jackie's request to not contact the alleged assaulters to get their account. These mistakes are on Rolling Stone, not on Jackie, end quote. All right, so that's still a synopsis of what is now a 4-paragraph long apology. Yesterday's apology was 3 paragraphs long, and there are a few other changes in the language. So joining me right now, defense attorney Tanya Miller and Judge Glenda Hatchett. All right, good to see both of you. Last week, as you put it, you were all fired up about this.
I was absolutely fired up. And I will tell you.
How does this change the dynamics for you now? Whether it be the believability of the story, of Jackie's account, what it says about young ladies or anyone who is a victim of alleged sexual assault reporting?
Right. Well, I think it's muddying the water somewhat, but I am still very clear, Patrika, that something's going on that needs a bigger focus than we saw. Of course, I was spitting fire last week on this issue.
And something bigger like what? What do you mean?
Something bigger like that this is a pattern that too many women are really having to deal with on not just UVA's campus, but on other college campuses. Now, the fact that the guy who she says lured her into the room allegedly wasn't a member of that fraternity and may have been a member of another fraternity.
Why does that matter?
It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
So it matters if you are, I guess, the legal team or you're in the hierarchy of this Psi Kappa Phi or Phi Kappa Psi fraternity.
For the lawyers,
it matters for you.
For you. It does for the attorney representing the lawyer representing the fraternity, but it doesn't in terms of the broader issue. Was there a violation? What happened? Was it properly handled?
Yeah. Tanya,
I think,
you're chomping at the bit.
Well, my problem with the way that these things have been handled all across the country and all of these different campuses is that they are not being investigated by law enforcement. They are not being reported. You know, it is critical, if you are investigating a sexual assault, that you move quickly to obtain evidence that corroborates what the victim says, to get the victim in the appropriate counseling. It is a very daunting task to confront your accuser publicly.
So this exemplifies how none of that took place. Instead,
happened.
It was trying to resolve it by way of telling the story publicly and hoping that your story is conveyed, you know, the way you want it to be conveyed.
In an inappropriate form. I mean, there's nothing wrong with telling a news article or a magazine about your story, but if you want to hold people who commit sexual assault accountable,
right,
you have to do it in an appropriate way. And telling your story to a newspaper isn't necessarily going to make that happen.
Now 2 years later
and now this has really becoming more of an issue about Rolling Stone as well. And so you have to wonder, one has to wonder if this apology has been adapted as a result of any kind of pressure, whether it be from the attorneys of UVA or from that fraternity.
Oh, absolutely.
What's going on here? Because I see a whole nother legal map being laid out here.
Oh, absolutely. They had to come back with some kind of statement because
but it's not a retraction and it's not a correction.
It's not a correction.
It's an apology.
It's an apology. But this may not be the end of it, because if either the university or the fraternity decide to bring suit against them, you're going to see some different kind of response on this.
It's very difficult to deal with people who have been sexually assaulted. You don't really know how to handle them. I think they were trying to honor her by, giving her some sense of anonymity, but in doing that, they really kind of failed to do their job as reporters, and that is to get both sides.
And she couldn't give their names necessarily.
Right.
Would that
and maybe legally, that's probably smart that she didn't.
Maybe.
Okay, we'll have to leave it right there. Look, now I'm trying to be the attorney. I'm learning
You're
from you,
good,
Tanya
you're
Miller,
good.
Glenda Hatchett. Thanks so much. Good to see you, ladies.